Ah, funny thing happened on the way to the forum, Linda, this week. Funny thing.
You gotta open one up just to see what's inside it.
I've
They're
already,
so cute.
I've already sampled one. Mm.
Yeah, hold him up. They're little koalas, guys. We sell them here. They're called caramello koalas.
I've just bitten his head
And
off.
I sent Mike over some for Christmas, and he's finally received them.
We've also got our Tim
and our
Tams,
Tim Tams.
which have been started.
Oh yeah.
We got Tim Tams. We got Tim Tams
Yeah.
Deluxe. We got Tim Tams Chocolate. And look what we got. We got a little koala. So.
It's all good, darling. You know we love you. You know we love you.
Yeah.
Okay?
So, yes.
You know we love you.
Hope all is well. Sari says, hope all is well with both of you. Everything is going well.
Everything is going well, Sari. And I should say that our gifts with Mike this year were reciprocal. Elizabeth made us the most beautiful chili sauce, and it was actually opened by border security. So I got this little leaflet, your parcel was opened by border security. Verified what was in Elizabeth's homemade stew. So that was funny. Oh my God, Mike.
More presents, Linda. Look. Schumann resonance generator.
Well, I'm buying myself a present tomorrow, Mike.
Yeah.
2 days, 2 hours each. I was at my local phone company. And if you haven't noticed, I am still using the old one, but I've just bought the bill. I'm just biting the bullet.
Biting the bullet.
And tomorrow I'm just going to go and buy a new phone outright because I am over the situation with this phone.
Yeah.
I want to start doing better quality. I want to start, let's go there. I want to start going down to the lake and doing lake affirmations.
Mm-hmm.
And I also want to video Mary, my cat, when she's purring and call it Mary Meditations.
Yeah.
So I want to start doing at least one of those every week. Because we need them. Yeah, everybody needs to slow down and pause and remember what is important. Because the signs are, Mike, the next 2 months, the world is going to go crazy. So I like my lake affirmations and Mary meditation nights I'll do. Yeah. So it has to be done. I know. Yeah.
Well, I've got
So
I've got a cat purring on YouTube. With some, incidental music in the background at 528 for Becky. And this Schumann resonance thing, it gives off a frequency of 7.83 hertz. You don't hear it, and it balances everything within nature. And so we've been running this, and this, as you can see, is running at the moment. This is my Healy. This is my Christmas present.
Wow.
From me to me. And this is actually clearing the quantum field for somebody in Russia right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
well, see, I didn't buy myself anything for Christmas this year.
No.
And I'm a March birthday girl. So this is going to be birthday and March together with like money that I've put aside throughout the year for myself. So, I'm up for $1,500. As a single mum, I just think, oh my God, do I need to spend that on a phone? But I really do. I have to just bite that bullet and go and do this.
Yeah.
So then my subscribers get a better quality video. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like I'm still going to be here with you because here talking to you. Actually, I might even have a look at Skype on the new phone because it has a perfect camera.
Yeah.
So I may even start using that for our talks.
Yeah.
So I'll see how it goes, but I'm going to go get it tomorrow. Obviously, it's going to take a few days to set it up. First thing I've got to do is put all my contacts into it because I know that I can't just convert them from one to the other. So I've got to add all my phone numbers again, and it's going to be a nightmare. But at least, tomorrow if I get it in the morning, I'm taking Tashi to the dentist around lunchtime so I can sit there for 2 hours at the dentist and just add numbers to my phone. Oh, what's on the App Store today? What apps do I want on my new phone? So I can start playing with it.
You might want to download the, I think is it Dr. Greer, the CS5 app that's designed for communication with aliens or Pleiads or whatever life forms are out there. It's an interesting little app. When I get a new phone, I'll consider getting that one myself.
Well,
yeah.
Are you able to just go into your messages, Mike? Because I want to just send you a little message
from Skype
about that. Yeah, go to your Skype messages.
Yeah. Dun, dun, dun. There we are. There's something there. Oh, ooh.
We can't say it on air.
Okay, yes.
I know something a lot of people don't know about that Dr. Greer app.
Okay, thanks for that. Now you've got everyone curious, Linda, so...
I know, but... Yeah, I know, guys, and I do apologise for the games, and I don't play games, so maybe I should just say it.
Well, you could say it is believed that...
It is alleged, and it's in my own personal opinion, that... See, I've got to be so careful. Yeah. He wasn't the one that came up with the idea. That's what I've heard.
Right.
Okay?
Good way of
That's what I've heard. Okay, so yeah, he can't get me for defamation now because it's just alleged until proven. I don't know who designed the app. Okay, but it's alleged he wasn't involved with it.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Yes. So Kim, if you're still watching, I love Dr. Greer too, but you don't get to be that big unless you've done some backhanded deals along the way. You really don't. So
shock, horror.
I don't know. I'm not assuming because I want to believe that he's doing a really good job for everything. Yeah. The alien work out there, I really hope that he's on the right side with the aliens because we've got so many different species of them here at this point.
I think he's on the right side, yeah.
I hope he is too, but I will tell you, I muchly prefer, oh God, what's that other guy's name? Oh my gosh, the guy, he sort of looks like you, Mike, with the little grey hair.
Einstein?
And I can't talk, look at my face. Sorry?
Einstein?
No. The other guy that's out there, he does all the alien stuff and he comes out and, oh gosh, what is his name? He's English, I think he's English, and he's always, he did this huge, he just turned up in like Trafalgar Square and everybody came out and saw him. Oh God, what is his name? And as soon as I say it, you'll go, oh yeah, him. Because he's right on the ball too. I actually like him more than I do Dr. Greer.
Right.
Okay?
Okay.
Yeah, so if anyone knows who I'm talking about, I'll have to go find it. I can't remember his name. It'll come to me during the show at some point.
Right.
Because I can still see his face. Okay? Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Maybe if I just do Google famous alien guy. I don't know who's going to come up when I put in famous alien guy. Yep, Bob Lazar.
Bob Lazar,
Joe Rogan, Travis Walton.
Yeah.
Who is this guy? Oh, mate, I can see his face. He's got grey hair, and he comes out. He's the English guy. He's always coming out with all this stuff about psychics and aliens and...
Not David Icke.
I can't remember. No, David Icke. Actually, it is. Sorry. It is David Icke. There you go. You got it.
Right.
Him. I like his work. He was the one when all the mandates started. He was the one going out there saying, this is all not real.
Yeah. Well, we've
And he got into a lot
subscribed
of
to iconic.com, which is a platform his sons run, and it's excellent. It's absolutely excellent. So,
Yes.
but Linda, we better
Yes.
get on with this because
We better go on because we've got a big show tonight.
Yeah.
Yep. So
And
let's get straight. Katerina first.
Katerina first, and this is the short version of the Open Door News. And what I've done is I'll put up the full version of the Open Door News, which is only about 12 minutes, on the YouTube channel after the show. So let's run this and see what Katerina has to say. Here we go.
We have a story from Miss Carrie Fisher, rest in peace herself. Princess Leia, of course, probably her most famous role, but she was also a writer. So she was going to awards season one year, all the Oscar parties and so on. So a friend of hers came by to visit her. So when she was at a party, he was with her, but then she went home earlier, but he stayed on at the party. So he comes home and crawls into bed with her and falls asleep with her in bed. They were just friends. It wasn't romantic. And what happened was during the night, he passed. She blamed herself because she didn't hear any noise. She didn't wake up. But sadly, the gentleman crossed over. And what happened was months later, she heard noises. She didn't know what it was. And as she listens closer, it happens to be the sound of a toy that she used with George Lucas, like a speech box that would just, like, if you pressed it, would say things, you know, like curse at you and things like that. So this one, as she got closer to the sound, would just say, "Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me?"
Wow.
And of course, she knew right away that was, in fact, her friend. Yes, we have a celebrity theme happening today. We have Lily Thompson of The Conjuring and many other films, Mystic Pizza. She went away with students, acting students, to Block Island. And as they were rehearsing, she would see lights flickering in the evening, loud sounds as if an old-fashioned metal bed was being dragged across the floor. And she would ask other people in this camp of actors, "Did you see this? Did you see this?" And they all said, no, it was only her. So one evening she went into town and she was talking to one of the locals, and the woman said, "Well, I could come over to your house. I have a friend who is into spirit communication. It sounds like you have a ghost." And so the woman, sure enough, came with her friend, and they brought a Ouija board, and she said, "Do you mind if we do this?" Wow. And she goes, "At this point, I have, nothing to lose. Go ahead." So they did the Ouija board, and the plane was moving around speedily, and they started spelling out words. And then when they, it stopped moving, they had saw that it said something about there were these two girls, these two preteen girls who actually passed in the house. They fought with each other all the time, and their father was even a dividing force contributing to their fights. So they passed in the house very bitter and angry and upset at each other, and they didn't want to be, they were trapped there, and they didn't want to be crossed over into the other side. No. They had all this lingering resentment about them that stayed in the house.
Yeah. Well, we've got one more mafia type of character who's got a little story going on there. What's this one all about?
Vincent Cartola, from Sopranos fame and other mafia type movies, had an interesting encounter. This one's kind of a happy one. his father had passed, and it happens that he and his wife he was looking out of the window on an April day, and he sees just one single yellow flower. But it was one of those harsh winters in the Northeast where, April was still a little bit of permafrost on the ground. So he calls to his wife and he says, look how strange. I didn't see this flower when I looked out of the window yesterday. There's just one single yellow flower in the middle of the lawn. And she says, well, think about it. Today's your dad's birthday. Didn't he always give me one single flower on his birthday? So he kind of, let that rest in his mind. He goes and he uses the shower and he hears a voice saying, Vincent, Vincent, Vincent. He turns off the water thinking somebody's in his home. He looks around, nobody's there. He goes, wait a minute. He goes, that was my dad's voice. He tries to calm down, puts himself together, gets dressed and everything, and then looks again outside onto his deck, and he sees that there are 3 fresh figs placed on the center of his table. And he goes again, April, it's not the season for fresh figs. He goes, but my father loved fresh figs. So he steps outside and he sees a pickup truck, the bumper of a pickup truck tailing off out of his driveway. And he just couldn't believe it. All these signs from his father, because his father drove a pickup truck all his life. He'd always buy pickup trucks. So he couldn't believe it. And he remembered his father saying that, this isn't our home. We're only here in passing to try to, accomplish our soul's mission and make the world a bit of a better place than when we left.
So on that note, Katerina, what should we do?
Stay curious, my friends.
You don't get much more New York than that, do you?
She's gorgeous, isn't she? Gotta love her. When she wore that white wig a couple of weeks ago, I was thinking, wow, I should go and do that. I've decided, Mike, to age gracefully. No more of the 30-year-old blonde that I had, so I'm letting my hair grow out. And I was looking just before at how many greys I'm getting now. But hello, I'm nearly 57 years old. Well, I'm still 36 plus a few. And I am grateful for this life allowing me to have so many years on this planet, And that's the right attitude that we should all have. Everything is a gift.
Yeah.
So I've just accepted to grab the bull by the horns and just say, yep, I'm taking this as it is now, So I'm really happy with where I am.
Yeah.
That's right. So Katerina, she's gorgeous. I could listen to her all day. I love her accent.
So before we move on, just as a side note, actually, we often talk about the strange or early deaths of people in films like Exorcist, Poltergeist, or the illnesses that they encounter, and it just dawned on me that the amount of people who were in The Sopranos that have died at youngish ages, that didn't reach old bones, and I do actually believe, in this case, it may just be a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences, but you get my point. But again, The Sopranos started off a little bit tongue in cheek, but it really got dark and really ugly. A bit like The Mentalist, it started off quite tongue in cheek, and then you got into this what was his name, Red Ken or something, and then it got ugly and quite satanic.
I never watched it. Can I go there?
Yeah.
Look at the show Bewitched with Samantha.
Yeah.
She had the daughter. She was the witch with Darren.
Yeah.
Derwin as the mother-in-law. But they all died.
Did they?
Yeah. I know. They all died really young. But I was watching a show on Netflix the other night, Heist, and it's 8 episodes. Actually, I don't think it is Heist. I think it is Heist. No, Kaleidoscope. Sorry, take it back. Heist was great. It's called Kaleidoscope. It's only just started. And it's about 7 people who rob $7 billion off. His name's, the actor is Rufus Sewell. He was in The Tourist. Right. He played the guy that everyone thought it was, right? And he was in A Knight's Tale with Heath Ledger. So he's been in a few movies out there, and he plays the bad guy again. Right. But every time I watch that, I was watching an episode at a time because I don't get very much time to just sit and binge anymore. I watched their first episode, and I thought, something's just not right with this show. So I watched the second episode, and I just felt the same. Third episode, fourth episode, because there's about 6 or 8 episodes, and they're all coloured. They're all named different colours. So you go through all the. I got up to Red, the episode Red, which I love Red, and I felt sick. I got off, pardon me, and I actually physically felt sick from the energy coming out of this show. So if I'm getting affected by the energy coming out of this show, and I'm not saying the show's a bad show at all. I'm just saying that I personally, some people don't like eating sugar. Other people eat it for breakfast. So it's just my preference that I don't like that. I really like the storyline, actually, and that's why I just push myself to keep watching it. But something in it just affected me. So I can't watch the last 2 episodes. I've Googled them to see what happened, but I can't watch it.
I think all the template is, what I've noticed, is that these things, it's like bait and switch. They draw you in with this light-hearted, easy-to-follow story, making you feel that there's a little bit of suspense and the good guys are working through it, and it's going to... But there's always a twist that makes it dark and ugly at the end. And this is why I don't watch this stuff anymore. I really don't, because it's all bait and switch. So,
well, yes, I know. And, some of these shows are 6 hours, 6 one-hour episodes, and they could easily make it a 1-hour episode. Yeah. So it's really about the view hours. Yeah. That's one reason why I don't play these games that they do. On YouTube, I like keeping my videos to 20 minutes. Even when I was trying to get to the hours, 4,000 hours that I needed to monetize, I would not sit there and do a video for an hour because I understand people don't have that long to watch. They'll listen to something on the car going to work, or, they get maybe 6 minutes into something like I do personally too, and then they just think, damn, it's time to go, I've got to turn it off. And they never go back to it. So, with these shows on Netflix, I can see it's just bait click. Yeah. They just want the first, like I watched the first half hour of Meghan and Harry.
Why on earth would you want to do that, Linda?
Okay, I'll tell you why. Okay, and this is a good lesson for a lot of us. I don't ever want to base my opinion of something based on the unknown factor.
Sure, yeah.
I prefer to watch something so then I make an assessment based on evidence and facts. Yeah. So when I do critique or highly regard something in that variables, I can base it on my experience with it. Yeah. I'll never just say I don't like that because I've never watched it. Someone said to me the other day, oh, what do you think of this movie? And, it's a flop. No one liked it. But I will never say I didn't like it because I haven't seen it. Yeah. So, I wanted to experience at least a little bit of Harry and Meghan. And I got about half an hour in when I realised that one of it was a lie. And I turned it off. Yeah. Because a lot of people are saying that they're lying in it. Yeah. And you can tell they're lying in it. And it's so unfortunate.
Having grown up in London and been bombarded with royalty every day on a daily basis, you don't need to watch any TV program. You see it clearly all the time. But
that's right. I lived in the UK.
Yeah.
2 years. You know, we got driven around because my dad was working at Australia House. So we were Mum and Dad used to go to the Buckingham Palace for garden parties, you know?
Yeah.
So, I went to a school with royal kids there. Yeah. Oh, my God, that was a nightmare. Do not bow at royalty unless royalty asks you first, you know? So you can't even just curtsy at them. You've got to wait for them to make eye contact. Yeah. If they don't want you to bow, they just won't look at you. So you've just got to stand there like, damn, she doesn't like me. That's what it was like. Yeah. So, but I go straight over my head, unfortunately. Yeah, so anyway, off that, we better get on to our next show because we're already half an hour in.
Let's have a look at some poltergeist, again, behaving badly, as they do. Not too creepy, this one. I think this is manageable for pretty much everyone. Let's have a look.
This video, uploaded to YouTube by Charles Larita and the Mischief, is a perfect example of classic poltergeist footage. After hearing creepy sounds around his house for quite some time, the uploader decided to set up a camera in an attempt to learn what was going on. Focused on a dresser with cluttered objects, the camera picks up some seriously odd activity. First, the lamp on the right end of the dresser begins to wobble. Just when the lamp stops wobbling, an object falls forcefully from the left side of the dresser. Then, as the object stopped moving, the door swings shut all on its own. Watching the footage, it appears that whatever's causing the odd activity in the room is more likely into harmless pranks than causing actual disturbances. Still, this odd behaviour is unsettling enough to make anyone worry about a potential poltergeist problem. Entitled Haunted Store in Kingsville, this video, uploaded to YouTube by user Joey Nike 12, begins with two boys in an office setting discussing their desire to film a room in the building.
Hey, let's go record that room.
From the beginning of this clip, it's clear this room has an infamous reputation. Putting the camera down, the two boys leave and disappear from view. After just a few minutes, the activity begins to escalate. A small dustpan on the left side of the screen falls over. Just before the door comes swinging to a close all on its own. Coming back a short time later, the boys are shocked to find the door has shut. Sure that the camera's picked up some sort of poltergeist activity, the boys can be heard quickly deciding to review the footage. The clip then cuts out, leaving the viewer wondering if what they've just witnessed was really caused by something supernatural, or just some clever deception on behalf of the boys. While certainly not the scariest footage we've ever seen, this video still leaves the viewer questioning and wanting to know more about this mysterious and potentially haunted room. Uploaded to YouTube by Leanne Wilkinson, this CCTV footage begins like any other standard security camera video. Clearly set up to keep watch over a store closed for the night, the video quickly takes a chilling turn as a mysterious shadow passes over one end of the store. Fruit falls from the shelves as the shadow continues to be seen floating across the floor. Its source is perplexing, and one can't help but think that the cameras might have actually managed to capture proof of a mysterious shadow person. While the dark presence is certainly very creepy, it's what the video shows next that will likely send chills down your spine. The camera cuts to another angle of the store, revealing a door violently shaking, almost as if something sinister's on the other side trying to force its way in. Then, just before the video cuts out, the strange shadow can be seen passing through the room once more. Seriously disturbing, it's quite clear that something out of the ordinary has been occurring in this store. What do you think? Could these security cameras really have captured evidence of a resident poltergeist? Love to get your opinions on this one in the comments section below.
I don't know. You got that look on your face. I mean, the first one, Linda, I was kind of looking at that, and I thought, I don't know if it was my imagination, there was some kind of shadow just before the door shut. I don't know.
Well, you know what really irks me about these footages, Mike? They're all center stage.
Yeah.
It happens right in the middle of where the camera just happens to be set up, except for the bottle shop one with the shop.
Yeah.
But we'll go into that one too, okay?
Yeah.
So let's go through some of my notes. The lamp, where the lamp starts shaking, I've got a similar lamp that's on a similar cupboard with a similar cord.
Right.
So I went up to my lamp and I grabbed it by the base and I started wobbling it the same as in that one.
Right.
And the cord was also shaking.
Right.
Exactly the same as in that video. If it was a string or magnetism or something, I've got a feeling that that cord would have been pulled tight.
Right.
So it didn't just flop around.
Sure.
So I like the lamp. Okay, I'm liking the lamp. I'm not saying it's real, but I like the lamp as paranormal, right?
Yeah.
Then we go to the phone. Because the phone when the phone falls off that cupboard, it's sitting upright and it actually comes off by where the cupboard is and it's leaning on the cupboard. It slows down like that and then it falls off.
Right.
And it falls off flat.
Right.
So again, I debunked this. I put my own phone. Last day, guys. Last day of this one. So I put my phone up against something and I made a bump. And sure enough, it fell in exactly that same motion.
Right.
So then I rewound the footage and I thought, where's the bump? Because the lamp would have gone crazy.
Yeah.
So I like the phone as well. It may have just been off balance, but it was sitting there all the time that the lamp was moving. But I'm thinking that the lamp may have also created that phone to just lose its balance a little bit to where it slid off. But we can't know unless we're there. Now, the door that closes, we can't see the bottom of the door to know if there's hinges, ropes, magnets, whatever, causing it to shut.
Right.
So unless we get the whole thing in camera view, I don't like debunking it or saying it's paranormal. So that's the first one. The second one with the furniture store, with the two guys, they walk in through the door and they set up their camera.
Yeah.
Again, we have center stage.
Yeah.
Why? Now, seriously, why would you walk into a room and face your camera at the door, expecting the door to shut? It may have already done it in the past, but if it's done it in the past, that shows that there's something unbalanced in the hinges, and that's why it closes automatically by itself anyway. Okay?
Yeah.
So why would you set up that doorway center stage again and not have it in the rest of the room?
Yeah.
Strange, that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because I think, sorry, Linda, that although they said there were strange goings on in there, this is a big room, presumably it's a storeroom. So strange goings on could have happened anywhere in the room.
Why just show the door?
Yeah, and as for the dustpan moving, we don't know if there's vibration, a truck going by, outside that can cause vibration.
I've got a similar dustpan. It falls over all the time.
Yeah.
Seriously, my dustpan, it's got a long hand. It's so you don't have to bend down with the dustpan, so it's got a long handle. Even the little scoopy thing's got a really long handle. It falls over all the time because they are so unbalanced. Okay, so again, I don't really like that one. So now we go over to the store. Okay, the store. do you realize that the shadow actually has a shadow?
Yeah, I didn't, but I reckon that could have been something passing outside.
It was.
Yeah.
Because ghosts and the D words and other things, they don't have shadows. So when you slow it down, you can see the thing, but there's also a shadow on the back wall that follows it.
Yeah.
Because there's that little display case with lights on, and that's reflecting straight past that thing as it walks past. So that's just someone walking past that's out of focus. Okay? So there you go. So that's debunked because there's a light on the display that reflects it. Okay? That's what I've read. The door shaking, now that's an external door.
Yeah.
There could have easily been someone on the outside doing that.
Drunk someone.
You can't say that one's paranormal.
No. But what
But then
about
we've got the bottles.
the stuff being thrown on the
bottles?
floor?
How do you explain that?
Yeah.
So finally, out of all those bits, we get into something that I actually am intrigued by, Mike.
Yeah.
How did that fruit fall down at that point when it's been there all day?
Yeah.
And, we could say, the air conditioner turned off at 10 o'clock at night, so fruit compresses because it's, fruit, because it compresses a bit with all the liquids inside it, so it's unbalanced, it's fallen off.
Yeah.
But, I don't, because I still don't see that, okay?
Yeah.
So I am liking the fruit. Out of all that stuff, it's the fruit that I like the best.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. So, but we've got to go through these ones and just really identify what could be paranormal because the guy that narrates these shows, I give a lot of credit to him because he is really hyping it up for his audience to say, oh, look at this, it's so scary. But when you mute him off and you look at it, it's not scary at all. It's just normal.
And
it's just normal imbalance of objects.
Linda, if I'm not scared by it, then it's not scary because I'm easily scared. Right?
I had a car engine thrown at me one night, and all I did was look at it when it landed. It landed about 3 foot in front of me, and it took a big chunk out of the concrete.
Yeah.
And I was just sitting there with my arms folded, and I thought, damn, thank God that didn't hit me. Because it would have taken a big chunk out of me.
Yeah.
Car engine. Wow.
Yeah, no, I've just done that. I mean, I've done house clearing, getting rid of very low vibrational energies. I've had doors slamming and everything, and
it's fun.
Actually, at the end of the day, you get used to it. But when you haven't done it for so long, and it starts happening again, it can be very off-putting. But I've served my time there, so.
Sorry. I did a video on my YouTube about a week ago, and I'm sitting there, and in behind me comes this huge white orb. I actually saw it over here on, like next to me as it came around, and I saw it, and I went, and I'm looking at the screen because I could see it on the screen, and I was thinking, that was a big one. Yeah. Because my window here is always shut and the blinds are shut, so there's no reflection coming through. The only reflection I've got is this big green light here. See, if I do that, you can see the light. Yeah. It's this big round light. So this orb came around the back of me and I could see it here. So that was no way, what do they call it? Flare, like camera flare or anything, because I physically saw it. Wow. So whatever that was in my video.
Are you sure that wasn't your halo that slipped that we just saw there?
I know.
Linda, we better march on. We better march on.
Keep going.
Let's go and have a look at Johnathon Pike, reincarnation. Again, we have to ask ourselves, how does this child come up with this information? So let's have a look. I won't spoil it, but that's all you need to know. How does someone come up with this information from someone who has still acquired very little information in their life? Let's take a look and see what you all have to say.
Pike. When Johnathon was 3 years old, his family moved from Holdbridge, Essex, England to Priory Park near Prittlewell, close to Southend-on-Sea in the southeast of England. One day, His mother Anne and Johnathon were walking through a park and noticed some men gathering leaves and twigs and placing them onto a large pile before burning them in a large blazing brazier fire pit. It was at this point that Johnathon casually told his mother that when he was 10 years old, he used to come to the park and set fire to the piles of leaves, where a policeman would then chase them away. His mother ignored his comments, believing they were just his childhood imagination. Late one evening, Johnathon was watching his mother ironing, and his father Tom told him it was time for bed. As they were walking upstairs to prepare for bed, Johnathon said to his father that when I was a little boy, my other mummy also ironed clothes. His father then said, "You mean you have watched mummy do the ironing?" But Johnathon replied, "No, not this mummy, but my other mummy." His father asked, "What other mummy?" And he replied, "The other mummy I had when I was here before." His father then asked, "What do you mean that you were here before?" Johnathon then said that he used to live here before, when he was a little boy the last time, with my other father and mummy. On another occasion, his mother took him on a bus ride, and they drove past some very large white houses in nearby Chalkwell, and Johnathon suddenly pointed to the houses and said that was where my Angela lived. His mother then asked him who Angela was, and he replied, "She's my wife." His mother then said, "How could you have a wife? You're only 3 years old." "Yes, but when I was here last time, I grew up to be a big man, and Angela was my wife." Johnathon said that when he'd been living before, he also had 2 children, a son and a daughter, who was also called Angela, after his wife, but could not remember the name of his son. Later that day, as they were returning home by the same route, they came to a crossroad where Crosby Road bisects the Ridgeway, and Johnathon became upset and agitated. "That's where my little Angela got killed by a car." His mother decided to make some inquiries about the incident and spoke to a Sergeant Ernie Dark of Southend, who remembered a fatal accident involving a child at that very spot about 30 years before, and remembered that the fatal accident had involved a girl. On another occasion, when Johnathon was riding on a bus with his mother, they approached a location between the Bell Public House and Cuckoo Corner, where Johnathon pointed to a large garage called Earl's Hall Motors and said, "That's where I used to work as a mechanic." Is this another fascinating case where a young English boy was able to recall a past life in detail?
Yeah, what do you reckon? Again, it seems to be
Oh.
3 years of age, 4 years of age seems to be the point where they can recall.
Well,
After that, it starts to...
you know what I think it is, Mike?
Mm-hmm.
When kids are around 2 or 3, when
Yeah.
they're starting to understand what words mean, like define as, they know mum signifies the female parent.
Yeah.
Dad represents my parent that's a male.
Yeah.
The cat is this thing with 4 legs and a tail. So they're identifying words when they're about 2 to 3 years old.
Yeah.
So now they're identifying that other person was the same role as you. So that's why kids say, "My other mummy."
Yeah.
You know? Because they don't understand that they're in 2 lives, because they're still in that concurrency of living in both of them. I think it's amazing. I love it. I really, it gives me goosebumps, Mike, whenever I see it.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, we had the story the other week where the kid explained everything, and then he said, that's it. He closed off the actual memory of his past life because he just had to say what he wanted to say to his current mum. So that was interesting.
I think that's a big call for a kid to say, "I'm going to switch it off now and be in this life."
Yeah.
How old a soul is that person, that soul, to know that they have the capacity to do that?
Yeah.
You know? I think it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's so special. Yeah. Wow.
Okay, moving on. Saved by an Angel. This is the story of a young man who almost lost his head in a boating accident. But wow, what happened to him, what he saw is incredible. You obviously wouldn't want to wish this on anyone, even though he had this great experience. But let's show everyone what happened to him and the outcome of it all.
4th of July weekend, when we were at my sister's, they were just having a great time. They always did water sports. So he and my son-in-law were on the jet ski together.
And I was driving it, and so I was in the front. I just started gunning it. Like I was gonna like whip it and spin. There was this blue boat line where you tie your boat up to. And we were going back, and we just went straight into it.
I was upstairs in the house, and all of a sudden I just hear a lot of commotion.
A few seconds before we hit it, like the sky just lit up and the time just froze. It was amazing. And the sky just lit up with angels. The angels were not no Cupid little angels that were like fluttering around with like the bow and arrows. They had flaming swords, and they were just like humongous. Like they were like some brute strength guys. They were big. I heard God's voice, and he said, "Put your hand up, Josiah."
I see my son-in-law lifting my son out of the water, and he was just very limp. You know, you could tell it was serious. And my husband was over there at that point, and he just had Josiah, with his head on his lap. You know, his neck was torn open, and you could tell it was really deep, and there were bubbles coming out, and you could hear the air, and there was blood. It was just really, really scary right at that moment. And my husband was just reassuring him the whole time.
And he said, "Josiah, don't worry about it. Everything will be okay."
And that was just because it was very chaotic, and for him to speak that peace at that moment was just really needed. They had to put him in, a coma for 24 hours until the swelling came down, because if they didn't, his airway was shut.
I broke 2 fingers. This is all scar tissue now.
They told us Josiah had lifted his hand at the last second, and they said that, when the rope hit his fingers and his arm, that if he wouldn't have lifted his hand, it would have gone right into his neck, and it would have decapitated him.
Yeah, even though this was cut open and I broke a couple fingers, I'm happy that I'm still alive.
Well, for the first 4 days in the hospital, he couldn't speak.
When they came in one day, my mom was with me, and I was like, "Mom." She was like, "You can talk now." I was like, "Yeah. Hey, I saw angels."
And I knew right then when he said that, and he started telling me he heard God's voice. When he told me that, I was just like, wow.
God was there. Like, that's the first time I ever heard God's voice, and that saved my life. When I got out of the hospital, I was just telling everybody my story. From that moment on, people wanted me to pray for them.
He just would lay hands on the kids, and he was very bold in his prayer, and he was speaking things that God was showing him.
There was a mission trip coming up to Baltimore, and I saw this guy in a wheelchair. He was just wheeling by in his wheelchair, and he was homeless. I walked over to him. I was like, "We have to pray for him." So I walked over to him, and I just started praying. The first time he could move his legs, I was like, that's cool. I like that. But God, can we make him walk? Let's just make him walk. The third time I prayed for him, he got out of the chair and he could walk. Like, I was like, oh!
And my husband even went to the youth pastor and said, we don't understand what's going on. And he said, look, people are getting healed. When he goes up there and gives a word and prays for people, they're getting touched and moved on by God. And he's like, this is real.
Before I got into the jet ski accident, I knew there was a God up there. All I thought God was like a judge. You're done, go to hell. That's all I thought God was, and he wasn't that very nice. He is more than that. God loves me so much, and he doesn't want his children to die, so he came down and he saved me.
It's been really cool as his mom to see that, God came off the pages of the Bible and became really real in his life, and it's interactive.
Interesting. You know, as you know, Linda, and as I know, when we have a supernatural experience, your case an NDE, in my case it wasn't an NDE, I wasn't clinically dead, it was an altered state. It opens up a channel for things. Some people become mediums, some people become healers, some people become channelers, some people become cognizant, you know.
And that's exactly why I tell people I must have had NDEs when I was a baby. You know, my parents tell stories where they'd drive me to the hospital and I was blue while they were driving me to the hospital. So I'm pretty sure that connection where I've gone into whatever other dimension or loop or whatever you want to call it, but I've been touched. So that's why I'm pretty well what I am today.
Yeah.
You know, this guy, what gave me the shivers is when he said, I heard that person say, put your hands up. You know, it took me back to when I was on that flight from Brisbane to Japan, and I was on the plane and I heard the lady say, buckle up. Yeah. And I was thinking, why do I have to buckle up for? You know, we're about to settle in for the night. Yeah. And I heard her say, buckle up. We hit a category 3, what do they call them? Not a cyclone, not a, what do they call them up in Asia? It's not a cyclone, it's not a hurricane, not a tsunami. It's, the storms that they have up there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, category 3.
Yeah, a tropical storm. So
it was a horrible night. Yeah. But thank God I buckled up because there were people injured on that plane, you know? So when he said put your hands up, they tell us to protect us. So if ever you do get these things in your head and you just can't understand this thought, and was that me? And it might say go that way to work or go there now, because if you're like going in for a few hours and they say go now, always trust it and go there. And if it does work out good for you, say thanks, you know, because that's why they do it. They only want our thanks as a reward. They don't want us to say, how much money do I owe you for that? You know, they don't do that. They want our emotional affirmation. So, always give them that thanks.
Linda, we had the story, I think, when one of the first shows we did, where exactly that this woman was on a flight and she was told, buckle up. Exactly this, buckle up. What for? Blah, 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 blah. Well, I mean, disaster struck and part of the plane door blew open or something like this, and people were sucked out.
I remember that one now.
They were sucked out of the plane, but she buckled up and she didn't get sucked out.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my God. How would you be sitting there with a huge hole in the plane? Like, we had a hole in the plane next to me, but it wasn't until we hit the ground. Because the wing hit ground first, which caused the plane to come off the actual body of the plane, and the cabin or whatever you call it. So the wing came off and it caused this big hole, and that was when we were already on the ground. I can imagine being at 18 or 34,000 feet and that happening. Yeah. It would have been absolutely petrifying. Yeah. Seeing all these other people falling out, getting sucked out, and she's there thinking all she's got is this little bit of material holding her onto the seat. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I can imagine what she felt that night. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Wow.
Well, Linda, last one.
Yes. We have to go there, and we've got the best till last as usual.
Hector Lugo, the NDE of Hector Lugo. So,
Can I just go there first, Mike? Before we go there, Chris Marshall, he's watched our show before. He's a guy who plays a guitar, and he does a lot of guitar, and then he has a couple of words in there that he talks, very profound words that he says, obviously. That's why I'm mentioning him. But just the way that this guy does what he says, and he's there playing his guitar, I thought, wow, that could be Chris Marshall sitting there, you know?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Let's go over and hear Hector Lugo's NDE, and then we have a quick discussion.
After my life after death experience, a couple years later, I wrote this particular song. It's called Lord, What Do You Want From Me? And the song is basically asking the Lord questions of what am I supposed to do now that I've crossed over and met him. Year 2000, on November 29th, on my wife's birthday, it's about 1:30 in the morning, I woke up with extreme pain in my chest, and my left arm was going numb. I remember saying, take off my shirt, and I heard his blood pressure is 54/11, and that I was having a massive heart attack. It's what they call the Widowmaker. The one other part that I recall is that they were saying code blue bed 1, and I was thinking, wow, that guy's in bad shape, not knowing it was me. And that's the last thing I remember as far as being on this side. All of a sudden, there was total darkness. I mean, darker than you can ever imagine. If I'm dead, I shouldn't be aware of this total darkness. It was getting lighter and lighter. Then the next thing I knew, I was on the edge of what I thought was a cliff. First thing I noticed was the vertical and horizontal river of white and gold. And it was just flowing. And the warmth, and I could see little gold domes on the other side, and I'm thinking, I gotta get on, that's where I gotta go. I gotta go there. And as I looked down, there was an endless pit, and it was grayish blue, but you couldn't see the bottom. And when I looked to my left, I could see the greenest green, and I'm guessing it's grass, and the bluest blue. And as I'm sitting there, I could see 2 columns with stairs in between them. And there was a gentleman sitting on those stairs, and he had his right foot 2 steps down, and his left foot completely extended. I mean, straight out. And he had something in his hand, and he had a robe on, and he had long brown hair that came to his shoulders. And I noticed that I could see objects in the distance, and when I did, energy, like, just shoot out. But I also noticed right away that I had no body. No arms, no legs. It was like my third eye was it. But I felt like I had a body. I felt like I could reach out and walk and do whatever, but I couldn't move from that spot. And I focused on that river, and I tried to figure out how I can get over there. And I knew that this guy over on the right of me was my key to get over there, that I had to work with him to get over there. And when I started to focus on him, next thing I knew, I was in ICU, waking up. It was just those 12 minutes when I was dead that all this happened. And I don't know how much of that 12 minutes this incident occurred. Was it 20 seconds? Was it 3 minutes? Was it all 12 minutes? There's so many questions after that incident. But I'll tell you one thing, is I do not fear death itself. I do not fear the afterlife. I know it's good.
Something's gone incredibly wrong there. We just lost Linda. I'm going to try and get her back on the phone. The line dropped. But anyway, so look, one of the things while we're waiting to connect with Linda is I like that expression, which was life after death, rather than just an NDE experience. Life after death was interesting. And also he talks about realizing that he didn't have a body. There's some sort of confusion here with this, because whenever I've spoke to Jean, there's Linda, she's back, but every time I've spoke to Jean, it seems that she says, yes, I do have a body, she says. So there you go. Linda's back. Linda, I was just explaining something that I liked his phrase, his life after death experience. And also he talks about not having a body. But whenever I've spoke to Jean and I say, do you have a body? She says, of course. So I know.
Let's go there.
Yeah.
It's a body of energy.
Yeah.
It's like a body of water.
Yeah.
We call it a body of water, a body of energy.
Yeah.
You know, they even say in space, you know, there's a body of star clusters. So what defines the word body? Yeah. It's just an accumulation of something.
Yeah.
You know? So, of course, Jean would say she's got a body because she's that body of energy. Yes. Yeah. My internet is playing up tonight, Mike. I really do apologise. We do have to be just a little bit patient until the first week of February when I get on a new plan, because I've tried twice now to go up and get onto a new plan with my phone, and I can't until the 1st of February.
Right.
So, but I'm going to go and just bite the bullet tomorrow and just get a new phone so I can start doing Mary meditations and like
Mary meditations. You better tell everyone who Mary is.
Mary was just here. She's gone now. Mary's my cat, and she purrs really beautifully. So I'm going to start videoing her and put her on YouTube as a Mary meditation. And I also want to start going up to the lake and doing lake affirmations near the water. I am beautiful. I am strong. I am gorgeous. With that energy from the water coming through, hopefully through the phone, to other people watching it. So I've got some good things coming for people in the next.
I'll tell you something, Linda. Before we go, we had this discussion yesterday outside of our table tipping, but with Jean, and electricity is those people is their Achilles heel. When the electricity goes down, so does pretty much everything they do. And what is electricity's biggest enemy? Water. And water, we've got to understand much better what water really is. And so look at the work of Dr. Emoto, look at the work of Veda Austin down your neck of the woods from New Zealand. Water is going to be playing one of the most valuable parts in our ascension. And why do you think these schmucks are all buying land on water?
Of course,
rivers?
They know.
Yeah.
They know.
So, but there you are. So water is...
They're fully aware.
Yeah.
You know, they are fully aware of the importance.
Yeah.
You know, they're not silly, they're all connected to the aliens. Whether it be the good or the bad ones, a little bit of up for discussion there, but I know which side of the fence I'm on. That's the main thing, because that's where I put my energy into. So at the end of the day, all we've got to hope and pray is that collectively we do raise a vibration in the right energy frequency for what we do want to be in our future. We are down to weeks. That's my messages now. We're down to weeks with what's going to happen. I think the stock market's going to do another little big crash. I just said little big crash.
A big little crash.
So a lot of people, you know, we've got to be, it's time now to contemplate and to concentrate on what is important at the end of the day. If you put your onus on having that huge mega car driving up your 15-kilometre driveway to your mega $1 million house, you're about to be in for a shock. If that's the importance of your existence. That's where I'm at. You know, we're in for a little ride, but hello. I actually said it today, Mike. I've already got my metaphorical helmet on. And I'm already holding on to the railings of the roller coaster, and I'm now at that top of the hill about to plummet downwards and go through all the spirals. So I'm ready for it. I'm ready for what's coming. You know, and at the end of the day, we just have to remember we all signed up for this.
Yeah.
So there is no, we don't have to fear it.
It's a note to myself. Why did I sign up for this?
And we've got to remember we are eternal souls.
Yeah.
And as long as we learn the lesson that we've assigned to come in here for, hopefully we don't have to come back and do it again.
And, you know, this is one of the reasons, again, in the table tipping sessions, where one question would ask, will so-and-so be okay? Well, Jean will always answer yes.
Yes.
Why is that? Because Jean knows, as well as many other people, that yes, this character will be okay. He'll survive whatever and continue on the earth plane. Or no, he'll pass into the light and he'll be okay because he's in.
So he's okay either way.
He's in the light.
know?
And James just says, hang on, James just says, I've got my tinfoil hat on. And I'll tell you what, if anyone, it's quite funny, you should go and listen to one of Weird Al Yankovic's tunes about tinfoil hat, I think it's called. It's really quite hilarious.
Yeah.
But anyway, there we go.
Yeah.
Sorry, Linda, carry on.
Yeah. So, no, you're fine. I actually say to people all the time that I've now had to change how I say things. I don't say, will I be okay? Because the answer is always yes.
Yeah.
So now I say, will the Linda life be okay?
Yeah.
Or will the body of Linda still be okay?
Yeah.
So we've got to break it down, because I've had so many other past lives, because our soul is eternal.
Yeah.
We're fine.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
we're fine at the end of the day for eternity.
When people ask that question when they come to a private table tipping session, I always have to rephrase it from ask, will Linda survive the earthly body from this operation? Or will Linda survive the earthly body from this imbalance or this accident that she's had? You know, that type of thing. And that's important, to survive the earth plane or recover the bodily balance again. So because we use words just like that, and if we learn to use the words with their correct energy and correct power, then you'll get much more out of life from this.
And what a best way to end our show tonight. Did you just realise that I just flipped to what you usually say?
There you go. Yeah.
You're gorgeous, Mike.
I was just about to have another Corolla Caramello.
Show everybody what they look like.
And the wife just nicked them and took them off me and hid them. I'll go and get them. Just carry on talking for 1 second.
Yeah, sure, darling. Okay, so I sent over Mike some Tim Tams, which are little like chocolate biscuits. They're really nice. They're on YouTube. Kate Blanchett was the first actress who ever did I think it was Kate Blanchett. She did the Tim Tam ad. But I also sent him over some caramello koalas. So it's a pack of 12. And they're only like this big, and there's a koala. The chocolate's in the form of a koala, and it's got caramel inside it. So they're all drippy. When you eat them, they're all drippy inside.
She took them with her. But I've got the remnants of something here.
You got the remnants. There you go. So it's a little caramello koala chocolate.
Yeah.
Well, here you go, Mike. If I had room in your box, I would have sent you a box of our tissues as well. That's what our tissues, they're gorgeous, aren't they? Caramello koalas. Yeah, so this is our tissue boxes, and it has their little paw prints on the top. So it's the artwork. So on the back it says who did the artwork, little story of the artist. So, yeah, we even our boxes of tissues here is all koala and happy Australia's memento stuff. But it's all good. Here's another box of tissues that I've got, and it's all our native flowers. See? Native flower artwork.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there you go. Oh, gosh. Anyway, darling, I am ready for bed.
I am going up to the restaurant. We have all our mail delivered to the restaurant because the gate gets locked here sometimes in the winter, and then we can't receive mail. So it's better to get it up at the restaurant, and I might have a crafty coffee while I'm up there. So
take up a Tim Tam to stick in it, darling. Oh, you'll like it because it's chocolate and it all like melts into your coffee. It's really nice.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, on that note, darling, so from wherever you are on the planet, thank you so much for watching us tonight.
Yep.
Please know that we're here every week. If you do have a paranormal story, you've got a ghost story, paranormal story, time slip, NDE, angel event, any other sort of
experience,
wonderful story.
Yeah.
And if you do want to appear, please do a 5-minute video. Hello, if I can do it, anyone can. Email it over to Mike through WeTransfer. Hello, I even learned how to use that the other day, and it works well for me. So anyone can do that. Either, if you do want to stay anonymous, just email all your story over to Mike, and we'll certainly read it out on the show. You can just be someone like B from Canada, if that's who you wish to remain as anonymous.
Yeah.
Okay? But yeah, we're looking for real stories on our show, guys. So please be interactive. Please share our story if you know somebody who has a near-death experience or other story that you think, wow, get them on that show, tell their story. Okay, because the more we tell our stories, the more we believe in this stuff, and the more that we believe in this stuff, the more we are creating it, and we are creating a far better world for our future generations than what some people on the planet are trying to create negatively.
Yeah.
So we must fight this internal war that's going on with the energies, and we must stay strong.
Yeah.
And wherever you are on the planet, please know that it is only geography, for we are all connected, and at the end of the day, we are all one. Thank you so much for watching.
See you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.